Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Kern Community College District. The board will reconvene in open session. Okay. Therefore, you call the roll.
Here.
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 Here. Here. Here. Use sufficient number of members present. We have a quorum, so we'll go ahead and proceed with our agenda, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Trustee Gomez, would you lead us in the pledge?
Stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. One nation, under God.
Thank you, Trustee Gomez Heitzberg. Board met in closed session. I'm here to report out actions taken in closed session this afternoon. In closed session by a unanimous vote of the board. Board took action to appoint Steve Watkin as interim president of Bakersfield College. The board anticipates it will enter into an employment agreement with Mr. Watkin at its next regular board meeting on April 13, 2020. Congratulations. Moving on to the next item, public comments. This time, the public may address the Board of Trustees on any matter within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board that is not on the agenda. Public may address the Board of Trustees on each of the agenda items as those items are considered. Each speaker will be allowed a maximum of 5 minutes per topic. 20 minutes shall be the maximum time allotment for public speakers on any one subject, regardless of the number of speakers at any one time. At the discretion of a majority of the board, these times may be extended. Each person who addresses the board must first be recognized by the presiding officer. Comments must be addressed to the board as a whole and not to individual board members or district employees. Board and staff are not obligated to comment on or respond to or address comments made by the public. At the opening of this meeting, names and agenda items were taken for public comments. Are there any speakers who wish to make public comments at this time? In hearing or seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the public comment portion of the meeting, and we'll move on to number 6, our preliminary items. A, presentation of awards to Bakersfield College and Saracoso Community College emeritus recipients. Chancellor Christian.
This is always a wonderful agenda item. And we recognize the emeriti from Porterville College at the meeting that we held at the college campus. So today we are recognizing those from Bakersfield College and Saracoso. So the word emeritus has Latin roots, meaning to have earned merit and distinction through service. It is a title reserved for select employees as a mark of distinguished service upon or after their retirement and conferred exclusively by the Board of Trustees. Much like earning the rank of tenure is a big deal, being granted the rank of emeritus from the Board of Trustees is a big deal. In recognition of years of distinguished service and contributions to the Kern Community College District, Bakersfield College, Porterville College, and Saracoso Community College, the Board of Trustees will bestow the title of emeritus on a group of outstanding former faculty and administrators. To the employees we are recognizing today, your dedication and body of work has provided enormous educational opportunity to our community and to our students. For this, the district is forever grateful. Thank you. In observance of granting the title of emeritus, you will each individually receive a specially designed medal. So please, when your name is announced, come forward while the president of the college will make a few remarks recognizing your accomplishments. And I think in this case, it's Vice President Rice who's going to make the comments because President Dadaboy wanted to be in the picture. After that, Usually, the president of the board will bestow the medal signifying that the Board of Trustees of the Kern Community College District has recognized you with the title Emeritus. However, President Agbalag has asked the trustees of the service area to do the honor on his behalf. So we will start at this time with Bakersfield College. As Vice President Rice is approaching the podium, we'll have the faculty and administrators in this order: Gayla Anderson, David Coth, Moya Arthur, Liz Roselle, and John Gertz.
Gayla Anderson, Professor of Child Development, 24 years of service. In her time at Bakersfield College, Gayla inspired and organized a children's literature library while always actively supporting our campus's Child Development Center. She and her students planted gardens, supplied and set up shade structures, and covered the fences with bamboo, creating a safe and inviting environment for our students' children to play and learn while their parents were learning within our classrooms. Gayla represented the Family and Consumer Education Department within our shared governance structure on committees like the Academic Senate. And she was also active within external education groups, bringing the knowledge of those organizations back to her department. Come on up. David Coth, Professor of Art, 20 years of service. Over the past 2 decades, David Coth has been an important part of our campus. Not only has he served as the chair of the art department, but David designed the signature logo that we all know and recognize as the stamp of our institution. David was an ICER standards lead for the 2018 cycle and in fall 2022. David was honored by his peers to present the Levin Faculty Colloquium presentation. His presentation was titled The Citrus Series, Ideation, Art Making, and Citrus. His esteemed artwork has been displayed at the Jones Gallery at Bakersfield College many times, and he's also been featured at many external galleries. We will greatly miss his thoughtful talent, but his art leaves a lasting legacy at BC. Kendall Moya, Professor of Philosophy, 30 years. During her 10 years as Professor of Philosophy, Kendall Moya cared deeply about teaching her students how to think outside the box while always considering other viewpoints. If you ask anyone who has read her writings, they will tell you it is clear that her work is infused with logic and personal responsibility. Kendall served on many campus committees like College Council and Academic Senate in her free time. She frequented the McMurtry Aquatic Center in the mornings for an early swim. Kendall was married to Professor David Arthur, also a BC philosophy faculty, for 18 years, until his death in 2008. Together, they have nearly 50 years combined of teaching BC students to think critically, push the boundaries of philosophical inquiry, and their teaching instilled a love of learning in countless students. Liz Roselle, Vice President of Instruction, 29 years of service. Liz Roselle has made a lasting impression on our campus community through her bold vision, contagious energy, passion for learning, unrivaled work ethic, laughter, love, and care. In fact, Liz's laugh is one you can't forget. Liz has inspired countless students and countless colleagues with their innovative ideas. Her work has made a difference in renegades of the past and will continue to positively impact renegades of the future. Perhaps most notably in the work done surrounding BC's baccalaureate programs and securing BC's opportunity in 2015 to be one of the 15 California community colleges to pilot a 4-year baccalaureate program. Years later, Liz stepped up to be vice president at a very crucial time when we were in the middle of implementing guided pathways, AB 705, curriculum review, accreditation, development of new instructional programs, BC Southwest, and we're experiencing tremendous growth from dual enrollment, inmate scholars, and more. Liz has been an example of kindness and a role model for empowering women. Even in her retirement, Liz has remained active, serving as the senior advisor to the chancellor and driving projects related to the community college baccalaureate and the nexus of ag, water, and energy. Since 2020, she has served as the director of the Valley Strong Energy Institute. John Gertz, Professor of Communication, 33 years of service. John was a faculty leader within the Rising Scholars Program, and we will always remember him for his efforts to organize debate tournaments on the inside for his communication students. He was the faculty lead for the college's speech and debate team, and fittingly, while teaching at BC, John earned his PhD in political rhetoric. He was the campus expert on the debates between Abraham Lincoln and Stephen Douglas, on occasion dressing in period costume. John will be greatly missed for the thoughtful way he made learning interesting and fun for his students.
So at this time, we'll move to Saracoso, and I think President Hancock is one emeritus to announce.
Well, I have the pleasure of speaking about Professor Matt Hightower. He couldn't join us today in person, but he's up in the Eastern Sierras where the winter storms have really taken the toll on those wishing to travel. So I believe he's joined us remotely. So Professor Matt Hightower, a respected educator in the field of business and information technology, had a significant impact during his time at Saracoso Community College. He initially started his career with Kern Community College District at Bakersfield College before joining Saracoso Community College in 1997 as full-time professor of business and computer sciences, and quickly made a name for himself as a passionate and engaging teacher. Alongside fellow emeritus Paul Meyer, he was instrumental to the development of CC Online, when it first began, leading to his selection as the first director of CC Online. They were pioneers with the development of offering counseling services in an online environment. He taught as a faculty member in the Business Information Technology and Economics programs. He taught programming, database, business analytics, economics, intro to CIS, applications, Word, Excel, Access, etc. He also spoke at many conferences, both in person and online, to promote the college's online program. That was the inspiration for the ESCC graduation ceremonies at our ESCC Bishop and Mammoth campuses. They started out with 8 to 10 graduates and rotated from Bishop to Mammoth every other year. When ESCC hit 35 plus graduates, the move was made to use our Bishop campus to accommodate the growing number of graduates. In May 2023, we will hold our 19th annual ESCC graduation ceremony. So that every graduate could participate in celebrating their accomplishment, he persuaded the local scholarship foundations to pay for the caps and gowns of all the graduates. Throughout his tenure at Saracoso, Professor Hightower developed a reputation for being an advocate for student success. He went above and beyond to provide personalized guidance and support to students, helping them achieve their academic and career goals, working tirelessly to create an educational environment where all students felt valued and empowered. Finally, Professor Hightower has been actively involved in service to Saracoso Community College and the wider community. He has served on numerous committees and task forces, providing valuable leadership and expertise to help guide the college through periods of change and growth. Given his distinguished record of scholarship, teaching, and service, we celebrate Professor Matthew Hightower as he is granted emeritus status. His continued association with Saracosta Community College will provide immeasurable benefits to both our students and the wider academic community.
And the last candidate is from the district office. I'm going to ask Vice Chancellor Matsanos to do the reading so I can be in the picture.
On behalf of Chancellor Christian, it's my honor to present John Means for recognition by the board. Following is an excerpt from Chancellor Christian's comments at the June 2022 board meeting. John has served in various capacities at Bakersfield College and the district office, including faculty and director of the Child Development Center, director of workplace learning, and following a stint at El Camino in workforce development, returned back to KCCD in 2008 as the Associate Chancellor for Economic and Workforce Development, and eventually leading to his role as the Vice Chancellor of Educational Services from 2017 to 2022. Through his various positions at the district, John insisted upon and relentlessly advocated for the allocation of funds to support underrepresented students, holding himself and other administrators accountable for their outcomes. Through this work, John secured external funding to train unemployed and underemployed individuals, including veterans and farm workers, to become wind and solar technicians through KCCD's Clean Energy Center. John consistently made allies, not enemies, in the battle for the future of our students. With a commitment to unifying our district, John successfully improved collaboration among the college vice presidents, forging stronger bonds among them, thereby laying the foundation for the three colleges to operate as an integrated fashion. Colleagues are impressed not only by what John does, but also by how he does his work, which is rooted in who he is. John's character, integrity, and humility garner the trust and respect of others, resulting in strengthened partnerships and life-changing outcomes for our students and for the communities in which they live. Throughout his career, John was tough-minded in doing what is right, yet tender-hearted in his interactions with colleagues, regardless of their rank, title, or position. For me, John has been a reliable colleague, an effective mentor, and most importantly, a lifelong friend. If you have a problem with my dad jokes, blame John. Congratulations, John, on being awarded this prestigious honor.
I mean, it's really incredible. I just asked Trustee Agbalag if I could just say one comment. Just thinking about all the relationships and the years that we have spent together. I mean, Gayla and David, you did all of the mock-up for Measure J, amazing. Moya and I were hired at the same year we started as faculty. Moya was the brilliant faculty member. And Liz Rizal was on the hiring committee that hired me. And John Gertz, we go back a long ways. Matt Hightower was in computer science at BC when I was in math. And then John Means, what would we do without John Means? So I just wanted to say, I mean, this is what the current community college district is all about, our colleges. It's the deep relationships that make us do the wonderful work that we do. Thank you, Trustee Agbalag.
Thank you, Chancellor Christian. Congratulations to all the recipients. We'll move on to the agenda here. Letter B, approval of consent items, business services other than construction. Agenda items 8A through 8E, business services construction. Agenda items 10A through 10FF. Educational services, agenda items 12A through 12D. And human resources, agenda items 14A through 14B.
Move approval.
We have a motion. A motion by Trustee Corkin, seconded by Trustee Carter. Any questions or discussion on this item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Moving on, letter C, approval of items E6 through 6F. Minutes of February 6, 2023 and February 15, 2023 and March 1st, 2000.
Second.
A motion by trustee Meek, seconded by trustee Corkins. Any questions or comments on this item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is letter G, correspondence to the Board of Trustees and or communications.
There is no correspondence or communications to report at this time.
Next item is letter H, first reading, presentation of proposed revisions to the current Community College District Board Policy Manual, Chapter 2, Board of Trustees, and Chapter 3, General Institution. Item is for information. Questions or comments? Okay, if there are none, we'll move on to item 7, business services approval. Letter A, authorization for the chief financial officer to execute the purchase agreement between the Kern Community College District on behalf of Bakersfield College and Even Recharge Inc. under RFP number BC 230209 to purchase self-rechargeable off-grid EV mobile charging stations. The cost of the district is $399,245.49 to be paid by the RP 281 Restricted Program Fund.
So moved.
Motion by trustee Gomez Heitzberg. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Jimenez. Any discussion or questions on this item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is letter B, approval to declare the Bakersfield College listed items as surplus property. These items are no longer required for school purposes and are surplus property per Education Code Section 81450. The district will dispose of said property through public auction, private sale, or donation per Education Code Section 81452. The items valued are at $1,700.
Move approval.
I have a motion by trustee Corkins to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Jimenez. Any discussion, questions or comments? There are none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is letter C, authorization for the chief financial officer to approve a purchase agreement between the Kern Community College District on behalf of Saracoso Community College and Dell Technologies for the purchase of laptop computers. The computers are intended to be checked out to students to support digital instruction content across the service area. The cost of the district is $146,000, $146,689 to be paid out of the RP 398 Restricted Program Fund.
So moved.
We have a motion by trustee Gomez Heitzberg. Is there a second? Seconded by trustee Scrivener. Questions or comments on this item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is letter D, authorization for the chief financial officer to approve a software and services agreement between the Kern Community College District and Elysian Company LP. The term is from March 10th, 2023 through June 30th, 2027. Cost of the district is $196,458.75 to be paid from the GU 001 unrestricted fund.
Move approval.
A motion to approve by trustee Corkins. Do we have a second? Seconded by trustee Meek. Any comments or questions on this item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item, authorization for the chief financial officer to enter into a grant agreement between the Kern Community College District on behalf of Bakersfield College and the Foundation for California Community Colleges for the 2023-24 Finish Line Scholars Program for emergency financial aid grants to students. Term is from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. The amount payable to the district is not to exceed $150,000 to be deposited into the RP 314 Restricted Program Fund.
So moved.
We have a motion by trustee Corkins,
Second.
seconded by trustee Jimenez. Any questions or discussion on this item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Moving on, number 9, business services approval. Letter A, authorization for the chief financial officer to execute a construction agreement between the Kern Community College District on behalf of Bakersfield College and DL Brown Construction, Inc. the Bakersfield College Veterans Memorial Outdoor Learning Area Project. Term is from February 15, 2023 through May 16, 2020. Cost of the district is not to exceed $453,560.80 to be paid from the RP 397 HRRF fund.
So moved.
I have a motion by trustee Corcoran, seconded by trustee Carter. Any questions or discussion on this item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is authorization for the chief financial officer to enter into a construction agreement between the Kern Community College District on behalf of Bakersfield College and Train US Inc. for the Bakersfield College HEERF HVAC repairs, heat pumps and boilers project. Term is from March 9, 2023 through June 30th, 2023. The cost of the district is not to exceed $348,905 to be paid from the RP 613 restricted. Motion.
So moved.
Motion by trustee Corkins. Is there a second? Seconded by trustee Scrivener. Any questions or comments? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is letter C, authorization for the chief financial officer to execute a construction agreement between the Kern Community College District on behalf of Bakersfield College and Ken W. Smith Construction, Inc. for Bakersfield College SMSR 2021-22 Humanities Restroom Upgrades Project. The term is from March 10, 2023 through August 18, 2023. Cost of the district is not to exceed $403,189 to be paid from the CD 100 Scheduled Maintenance Fund. To approve. Have a motion to approve by trustee Carter. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Jimenez. Any discussion or questions on this item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Letter D, authorization for the chief financial officer to execute a construction agreement between the Kern Community College District on behalf of Bakersfield College and Midstate Sheet Metal for the Bakersfield College Arvin Education Center Roofing Project. The term is from March 10th, 2023 through April 24th, 2024. Cost of the district is not to exceed $559,425 to be paid from the MJ 100 Local Capital Outlay Fund.
Move to approve.
Have a motion approved by trustee Jimenez and second, I think, by trustee Carter. Are there any questions or comments on this item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is letter E, authorization for the chief financial officer to enter into an independent contractor agreement between the Kern Community College District on behalf of Bakersfield College and Sierra School Equipment Company for the furniture and installation for renovation of the Renegade Pantry. Term is from January 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2023. The cost of the district is not to exceed $116,153.34 to be paid from the RP 037, RP 706, and RP 360 restricted program funds. To approve. We have a motion to approve by trustee Carter. Is there a second? Seconded by trustee Jimenez. Any questions or discussion on this item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item, 11, education services, letter A, approval of the attached curriculum reports of courses, programs, certificates, and new community service education course offerings as part of the district's curriculum for Bakersfield College and Porterville College.
So moved.
We have a motion by trustee Corkins. Is there a second?
Second.
By trustee Scrivener. Okay. Questions, comments on this particular item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Letter B, approval of the academic calendars for 2024-25 and 25-26.
So moved.
Motion to approve by trustee Corkins. Is there a second? Seconded by trustee Carter. Questions, discussion on this item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is letter C, approval of changes in 2023-24 instructional materials fees for Bakersfield College. The fees will be deposited in GU 001 unrestricted.
Moved.
A motion by trustee Gomez Heights for second. Seconded by trustee Mead. Questions or comments from members of the board? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries. Next item is authorization for the chief financial officer to execute an agreement between the Kern Community College District as a central mother load regional consortium fiscal agent and the central mother load local educational agencies or LEAs as subgrantees for rounds 5, K-12 strong workforce programs grant to regionally aligned economic and workforce development initiatives. Term is from January 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2025. The amount payable to the LEAs is $23,283,743 to be paid from the RP 677 restricted program fund.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve by trustee Nettlin. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Corkins. Any questions or discussion on this item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is letter E, authorization for the chief financial officer to execute an agreement between the Kern Community College District as the central mother load regional consortium fiscal agent and the Yosemite Community College District as a subgrantee for round 6 strong workforce program grant to conduct labor market research on industry sectors that lead to good quality jobs. Term is from July 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023. Sorry, the term is from July 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2020. The amount payable to Yosemite CCD, $200,000 to be paid from the RP 676 restricted program fund.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve by trustee Carter. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Jimenez. Questions or discussion on this item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is letter F, authorization for the chief financial officer to approve a grant agreement between the Kern Community College District on behalf of Porterville College and the Central San Joaquin K-16 Partnership. The term is from January 1st, 2023, June 30th, 2026. The amount payable to the district is $275,500 to be deposited into a new restricted program grant fund.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by trustee Corkins. Is there a second? Seconded by trustee Meek. Any questions or discussion on this item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is letter G, authorization for the chief financial officer to execute a sub-award agreement between the Kern Community College District on behalf of Bakersfield College and the California Farm Worker Foundation to produce non-credit specialized job training farm workers. The term of the agreement is from November 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2024. The amount payable to the district is not to exceed $281,923.20 to be deposited into a new restricted program fund.
Move to approve. And
A motion approved by trustee Carter.
And a question.
Question, we'll take the second first.
Second.
Seconded by trustee. Trustee Carter, you have a question?
Yeah, these are non-credit.
Yes, these are skill builder classes to CTE programs. And they'll be working with the agriculture companies and the workers.
Any other questions or comments from members of the board on this item? We have a motion and a second. All for the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is letter H, authorization for chief financial officer to approve a grant agreement between the Kern Community College District and the California Community Colleges Chancellor's Office on behalf of the California Community Colleges Board of Governors to develop, support, and scale the adoption of the program pathways mapper across the California Community College, California State University, and UC systems. The term is March 10th, 2023 through December 31st, 2031. The amount payable to the district is $25 million to be deposited into a new restricted program fund.
So moved.
We have a motion by trustee Corkins, seconded by trustee Carter. Any questions or discussion on this item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is authorization for the chief financial officer to enter to a grant agreement between Kern Community College District on behalf of Porterville College and the Foundation for California Community Colleges for the Finish Line Scholars Program. Term is from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. The total amount payable to the district is $125,000 to be deposited into a new restricted grant fund.
Move approval.
We have a motion. We have a second by trustee Scrivener. Any questions or comments from members of the board? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Brings us to the next item, 13, Human Resources Approval, letter A. Approval of the employment agreements for interim chancellor and deputy chancellor. On 13A, there was a non-substantive change to the employment agreement for the interim chancellor for the Green College District to correct a typographical error. I believe the error was in relation to a date. It says 2023 when it should read, I'm sorry, it said 2022 when it should read 2000. So item 13A includes a recommendation to improve the employment agreement of the interim chancellor. The term of the agreement is from May 1st, 2023 through December 30th, 2024. Salary is an hourly base rate of $210 per hour and is limited to $960 per year. Item 13A also includes a recommendation to approve the employment agreement of the deputy chancellor. Term of the agreement is for 3 years. The 2023-24 salary will be $265,750 per year and includes the same health and welfare benefits, holidays, and leaves of other management employees.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by trustee Porkins, seconded by trustee Mead. Questions, comments on this item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Brings us to item 15, committee and ad hoc committee reports, report of foundation activities by trustee liaison. We have a finance and audit committee report to the board. Trustee Mead.
Yes, the Finance and Audit Subcommittee met on February 26th. And one item, Porterville College and Saracosa Community College Housing Studies. Chancellor Emeritus Tom Burke, Associate Vice Chancellor Randy Rolls, and members of Zion Advisory Services addressed the Finance and Audit Subcommittee regarding the results of the housing study performed at the two colleges. The results of the surveys performed by Zion showed that both colleges have a need and have viable financial models. However, the state will most likely only be taking one application per district round. Presidents from both colleges spoke about the process and needs for their students. During the discussion with the board members, Mr. Burke and Mr. Rolls noted some steps outside of the housing study at Saracosa due to how the land was acquired from the Bureau of Land Management and the level of biological studies and monitoring that will be necessary to satisfy the Department of Fish and Wildlife. Subcommittee concluded to move forward with the Porterville College housing grant work to bring back to the full board for approval. The subcommittee also suggested Saracosa continue with their efforts for the next round of housing grants and to get through the beach and wildlife issues. Another item, Kern Regional Public Safety Facility update. Associate Vice Chancellor Randy Rolls and Chancellor Emeritus Tom Burke gave an update on Kern Regional Public Safety. There is significant support with all the agencies to try and put this all together. One of the challenges is the financing of the project. After much discussion, the subcommittee agreed to have the district polling on whether the big public safety facility bond would agree.
Thank you, trustee Mead. Any questions from members of the board? There are none. We'll move on to 16, reports. Letter A, facilities report links. Members of the board will receive these links in advance. Or any questions on the item information that was presented? Or none. Move on to letter B, faculty reports.
President Agblog, Board of Trustees, Chancellor Christian. I want to give my congratulations to Steve Watkin as being our interim president. When I read the mission for Bakersfield College, it says that it provides opportunities for students from diverse economic, cultural, and educational backgrounds to attain associate and baccalaureate degrees and certificates, workplace skills, and preparation for transfer. Our rigorous and supportive learning environment promotes equity and fosters students' abilities to think critically, communicate effectively, and demonstrate competencies and skills in order to engage productively in their communities and the world. I definitely believe that this appointment for Steve Watkin, that he meets all of those things that are in our mission. So I thank the board and all those that were involved in selecting Steve Watkin to be our interim president. Also, I wanted to just let you know what we covered a number of things in our last Senate meeting. Among the things were about the mathematics equivalency, dealing with one of the degrees that the CSUB gives their some of the math teachers that are teaching in the high schools. We will we also had talked about a move from the computer science program to our engineering department. We approved the academic calendar and also preserving lifelong learning and self-development, that area E in our general education pattern, having that being part of our graduation requirement. So, and we will be having, of course, a lot more spirited discussions in our Senate. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any others? There are none. We'll move on to classified reports.
Good afternoon, President Agblog, trustees, and Chancellor Christian. I have just a few updates from CSEA Chapter 336. Recently, our CSEA leadership participated in collective bargaining and executive leadership training. We feel very grateful to be actively engaged in the work of managing our chapter. We also feel really grateful and proud of the work that's gone into maintaining our strong relationship with district HR. We're looking forward to a few really important upcoming collaborations, including negotiations, the work that's going into the district-wide job description review committee, and being able to engage with our new interim chancellor, our deputy chancellor, and interim president of Bakersfield College. So I want to give our congratulations to Tom Burke, Zab Databoy, and Steve Watkin. KCCD's future still remains bright. On behalf of CSEA chapters 246, 336, and 617, I'd like to also take a moment to congratulate Chancellor Sonia Christian on her appointment as the Chancellor of the California Community Colleges. This is historic, not only because she is the first woman and the first person of South Asian heritage to serve as CCC Chancellor, but because she brings with her deep and long-held ties to Kern County and the Kern Community College District. About 8 years ago, when I was a department assistant in outreach at Bakersfield College, I met Sonia for the first time. I was immediately struck by her kindness, her compassion, and her unique vision and boldness. I would come to learn that she extends these traits to everyone: classified, faculty, management, students, members of our communities, those she agrees with, and maybe those that she doesn't as well. When it comes to classified, Sonia has been intentional about establishing meaningful relationships with our unit members and leaders. She's encouraged that classified members lead college-wide and district-wide projects. She has approached classified leadership for feedback on important initiatives and other happenings. She has provided the space for the classified voice to retain equal footing along with the other employee groups. It would be a bit of an understatement to say that a cornerstone of her leadership as president and chancellor has been her focus on the importance of shared governance and distributed leadership. So in short, CSEA is incredibly proud of and excited for her visionary leadership to continue transforming education at the state and national levels Thank you, Sonia, for finding ways to stand in solidarity with our CSEA brothers and sisters, and congratulations. That's it from my report.
I second most of what he has said, pretty much everything he has said. On behalf of Saracosa Community College, we congratulate Chancellor Christian on her appointment to the State Chancellor's Office, Steve Watkin for his appointment to interim Bakersfield College President, Dr. Dadaboy for his appointment as Deputy Chancellor, and Chancellor Emeritus Tom Burke's return. We also thank the district for the KCCD conference last month and hope to see that come back as an annual event with further classified participation. And in terms of my chapter for Saracosa, we unanimously voted this past about 2 weeks ago to reform our classified senate to take on roles regarding governance and professional development. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Management Association reports.
Good afternoon. Juanita Steele, President of the Kern Community College District Management Association. President Agblog, Trustees, and Chancellor Christian. I have a few things to report. Updates really. Our next lunch and learn on the KCCD complaint process has been rescheduled for the end of March. I want to thank the HR team for agreeing to present that to our managers. Of course, there are many, many congratulations due as everyone else has recognized. We want to chime in with our congratulations also to Emeritus Chancellor Tom Burke, Zav Dadaboy, incoming Chancellor, Deputy Chancellor, of course, Steve Watkin on his appointment to BC President. And really that brings me to what others have noted here. We have an amazing team. We have a very deep bench of managers, and not just at the very highest levels, but at all levels. And it makes me really proud to work with the Management Association to continue to develop our talent. So today, it is my pleasure to recognize one of those exceptional managers. We are recognizing Kathy Jacob as the March 2023 Manager of the Month. You may not know, Kathy's been with the district since 1995. She started as an account tech too. She later was promoted to accounting coordinator and has now served 5 years as the accounting manager for the grants reporting team. And in case you might not, have a good sense for the workload in that department, it has escalated tremendously over the last few years. And she and her team have kept up. And it's not been easy, I can assure you. And, the biggest thing I want to remind us all that just like when you do a ribbon cutting for a business, it's always great to celebrate when you get a grant. But really, we should be also celebrating when we have successfully concluded a grant and we've spent the money, we've accomplished our objectives, and we've improved our environment, our students, we've provided benefit to all those stakeholders in our system. And Kathy and her team, they're responsible for taking us to home plate. So again, given the dramatic increase, I think she told me her last count was like 320 new grants, which is a kind of an astounding number, right? So if you would please join me in recognizing Kathy for her skillful leadership, her ability to train new incoming people, and her dedication in documenting all the great work that we have done across our district. So I have one more fantastic announcement to make. The incoming state chancellor, our very own Dr. Christian, has agreed to offer the opening keynote at our second annual Management Association Symposium, and I want to thank you deeply, and I know our managers will very much appreciate hearing from you. Thank you so much, Sonia. That's all I have. You'll be getting our save the dates and our registrations before the end of the month. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, college reports.
Chancellor Christian, President Agbalog, members of the Board of Trustees, thank you for the opportunity of addressing the board. You have my written report. I want to highlight two items from there. First is that after an absence of about 4 years, we have the annual tradition of the Garden Fest returning to our campus on April 15th. And I hope to see all of you come to that. It is really a phenomenal experience. Second announcement that I want to share and to remind you and to invite you to participate in it is the graduation ceremony that we have on Friday, May 12th. We are going to have a graduation ceremony like no other. We are expecting a record turnout again, and it'll be an opportunity for the entire Memorial Stadium to give our Chancellor, Chancellor Christian, a huge applause as she moves on to the State Chancellor position. So I hope all of you will join us on that day. Thank you.
President Agbalog, trustees, Chancellor Christian, you have my written report. I did want to piggyback a little bit off of this morning's report on Measure J. The outdoor athletic complex has been a long time coming. I would share with you that when I first started back in September of 2020, soon after that, I went out, well, not literally, but via Zoom at that time, went out to Rotary Chamber of Commerce talking about this awesome athletic complex that was coming up soon. Well, here we are, 2.5 years later, and I'm back out making those rounds, celebrating the fact that we have finally gotten through all the hurdles and we're moving forward with that, and can't wait to present the contract for ratification at April's board meeting. It's been a long time coming, and the community is really excited about getting that started. And I just wanted to applaud the CSEA chapter at Saracosa Community College for voting to continue moving forward with bringing back the classified Senate. And I think it's such a wonderful contribution to our commitment to participatory governance. And I applaud their efforts in restructuring and bringing that back. So that's all I have for you. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Yes. Good afternoon, trustees, President Agbalog. I also want to join everyone in congratulating Dr. Christian once again for her appointment. I join everyone on the pride that we feel of having a woman in that position, and of course, representing the Central Valley, representing the voices of urban and rural campuses. That's very important for us. I also like to congratulate my colleague Zab Danaboy, and of course, we welcome Tom Burke back. That's wonderful. I also join in congratulating Steve Watkins for his appointment, and I look forward on continuing our partnerships and collaborations across the colleges. Trustees, you have my latest version of the PC update. I invite you to read those highlights, but I will take a moment to give you 2 highlights that are not included there because they are important events and partnerships. One is the math battle event took place just this week on Tuesday. Is a competition in math with topics around geometry, trigonometry, algebra, algebra 2. And for the first time, in addition to high school students, we actually had middle school students as well. And is an important event because it's led by our math faculty and it's a great collaboration with our K-12 partners, right? So I wanted to highlight that partnership. Another event is a job fair that is returning. Once again, it's the second job fair that we hold at Porterville College in partnership with Tulare Workforce Investment Board. There will be over 1,000 jobs here for our students to explore in different fields, different industries. In closing, I'm going to take a moment of privilege since I'm on the mic to highlight my leadership team. As you have seen the reports on enrollment, we're very proud of our recovery. But I have to say it and repeat it, it doesn't happen without a great team behind us. I know here in the room, we have Pat Russell, Vice President of Academic Affairs. I have Primavera Arbizo, Vice President of Student Services. And it's those collaborations across departments with the faculty that allow us to support the strategies that we presented to you and that we work in with the vision of Chancellor Christian to be able to recover. So I need to highlight them. I also would like to highlight Bob Sinkins, President of the Academic Senate, because it's the work with the faculty. They have been very collaborative and nimble in addressing the needs and the new strategies that we're doing with inmate ed, with adult education, and they do it with enthusiasm. I'd like to highlight my Vice President of Administrative Services and Finance, Maria Battisti, and our new Director of Facilities, Fernando, I'm going blank on his name, Fernando Jimenez. They stay behind on the campus because we're preparing the campus and the gym for an evacuation site, as Tulare County has declared an emergency and evacuations due to the river overflow. So I take a moment to highlight them because there is a large team behind us, and I want to extend my appreciation to them. Thank you.
Thank you for your reports. Move on to the Chancellor's report.
Actually, I don't have a report today. Just want to say, as I'm looking out to all of the colleagues, it just feels wonderful. You know, KCCD always daring mighty things because of relationships. That's all I've got.
Mr. Christian, that brings us to Board of Trustees reports and inquiries. Right, Trustee Jimenez.
First of all, congratulations, Dr. Sonia, on your appointment to be the next State Chancellor. During the last year and a half, you have done so many mighty things for the district and brought in millions of dollars to the district in student housing, the Renewable Energy Center, and also put us in the map at the state and national level. But most importantly, you have trained the next generation of leaders here at the Green Community College District, and thank you for that. And also congratulations to Dr. Sav on being the Deputy Chancellor, Steve Watkins on being the interim president of Bakersfield College. I have followed the work you have done in early college and how well known you are around the community. So I look forward to the great work you're gonna do. And to Tom Burke on becoming the next interim chancellor of Green Community College District. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Trustee Carter.
I'll make it short. Ditto what he just said, so.
Trustee Gomez Heitzberg.
Yes, add my congratulations to Steve Watkin. I think the ship is in good hands and it'll keep us moving forward. Thank you to Tom Burke and Dr. Dadaboy for stepping up to ensure that we have continuity. Anytime there is a change in the universe, we want to know that we have deep roots and that we're going to be well taken care of. And I feel like we're in good hands. Just like to tie something to the Emeriti and then innovation. The people who earned Emeriti status, because not everyone does, who are here today, you heard them, what they did outside the classroom, and being of service to others and being of service to their program and the community. And I think that's what really sets Kern Community College District apart, is that we come with an willing hands and an open heart. And if we see the need, we step up. to take care of that need. And I'd like to tie the program mapper and innovation and all the people who worked on that when we were working on guided pathways to Dr. Christian, because really that innovation is something that doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen without leadership and support. But we have you for 2 more meetings, so I'll leave it there.
Thank you. Trustee Scrivener.
In the interest of time, I'll just thank my colleagues on the board for saying so much of what we believe here about how privileged we are to have had good leadership, to look forward to new good leadership and the gratitude we have for that. I do want to just quickly say that I had the privilege, I serve on the Kern Economic Development Foundation Board, and we've done a lot of work in STEM outreach for our young people. And I was out in East Kern at the Mojave Air and Spaceport, and I got to see both Saracoso College and BC out there. I think as wonderful as the event was, my takeaway was the expressions on the faces of both the students and the folks standing on the other side of those booths, wanting so desperately to connect and to spark some inspiration in these young kiddos from California City and Mojave and the farthest reaches of our region that we serve. And it was quite touching. And we look forward to on April 28th, hosting the Kern STEM and Career Expo. And we will be doing that same work again out at CTech. And I just, as much as I appreciate so much of what happens in the classroom, I also appreciate our dedication to making sure that we're always digging deep and reaching out and inviting our community to consider that this is for them. And it was really humbling to witness that. And I look forward to doing it again in April and having a BC professor on our speaker.
Thank you. Trustee Me.
Just like to say, we're not going to be back together till after Easter. I wish all of you time to read.
Thank you. Trustee Corrigan.
Oh, yeah. That was Harold's favorite holiday.
I know.
So it's kind
Harold
of-
loved it. This is fine. Yeah, I echo what everybody else said, but I have a question for the board or possibly to President Agbalog or Chancellor. So we've gone through this, we made the interim appointments. This is the process to start the search for a new chancellor. How quickly can we start that? Not that I'm trying to squeeze you out. The process is long and difficult, and I'd like to get that going. What's the board's pleasure on such an action? President?
Well, I think Chancellor, if it's appropriate, appearance of the board, that we bring this item up for discussion at our next meeting. Lay out the next steps moving forward. I mean, we've gone through a chancellor search before, so I think the steps have been established, but we're going to revisit them and see if there's anything different that we want to do.
I think we would also in that timeline recommendation.
That's what the search, I was gonna suggest that we get the search firm, but I don't know if Mike does that or what.
Would recommend that we do. Perhaps you was successful in hiring him. As I've learned that they high power.
Agree with that.
I have my marching orders.
Thank you. Further trustee Corrigan. So I'll conclude by just summing it up. Congratulate Tom Burke, Dr. Zav Databoy on their recent appointments, and Steve Watkins as well. Congratulations to you, sir. Look forward to working with you in your new capacity as president at Bakersfield College. And then also to those individuals who earned the emeriti status. Congratulations and sincere heartfelt thank you to all of you for all that you've done over the last few years on behalf of our students, our district, our community. Thank you very much for everything. And then lastly to Chancellor Christian on her successful appointment as the chancellor of the new chancellor of the California Community College system. You know, just thinking a little bit about her appointment and how important it is for our region to have a representative in Sacramento in that particular spot, beneficial to us. gives us an opportunity as well to highlight the work that we've done here. Oftentimes when you think about positions at the statewide level, I like to think about it as you've got two big political heavyweights, and one in Northern California and the other Southern California. And here we are in the Central Valley, we're that thin barbell that's in the middle. But without the barbell, you can't hold up the heavyweights. And in the barbell area, that's where all the heavy lifting is done. And I can't think of any other person best prepared to do the heavy lifting on behalf of the entire state than Chancellor. And I'll conclude. I just got some information. We lost a very influential member of the Kern County community, Bakersfield in particular. John Brock Jr. passed away. And certainly will miss his leadership, his service, his philanthropy to the community. And if there are no objections, I'd like to go ahead and adjourn the meeting in his memory. So with that, we are hereby adjourned.